Let's see if we can get Bickley in here. Can you hear us okay?
Oh, there's Bickley. Hey.
I can.
Oh,
Okay, awesome. Yay. Hey.
I'm going to try to change things up here a little bit. There we go. So, Bickley Rivera, Steelpan Chill, the world famous Bickley Rivera, is joining us this morning. Out in California, how's everything going out there?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's gorgeous. Every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, it's nice today. It's like, no, it was nice yesterday. It was nice the day before.
Yeah.
The hippie chick and I was talking about the last time you guys were here. It's been a while since we've seen you, so you've been busy, huh?
It was that 2018, maybe?
Yeah.
18? Wow.
I think so.
Oh my God. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Well, we got
to make another trip over there.
Yeah.
I know.
We got you guys a picture on the wall here in the chocolate bar, and I was going to take it off the wall and bring it in here and show it to you, but I forgot all about it. But so since it's been a while, tell us what you've been up to.
Well, since 2018, I released a couple more albums and singles, but, I've been kind of experimenting with bringing the Steelpan into different genres, and you've kind of known that before, but, I've even gone as far as doing some deep house, and I know you got one of my tunes from that last year, I think it was, and I released another one, I think, maybe the year before even. I had two out. But anyway, I'm trying to perform as much as possible and bring the Steelpan into different areas so people can appreciate it that have not been exposed to it from the Caribbean, that might see it in a different light. And, it's a beautiful instrument. So it's all about the pan,
Yeah.
And then recently it was like last year I was getting this feeling like I wanted to do another smooth jazz tune. And so I happened to be sitting one day and just like all of a sudden these ideas flew into my head, and I got into my studio and just dumped it down, and then I called up my producer Steve Oliver in California and said, hey, can we get together and do some tracks with this, Yeah. So I gave him the tracks ahead of time, and then I flew out last year and we sat in his studio and he put down some amazing guitar tracks. And then we co-wrote a song together. So I've got another one that'll probably come out next year from that session. And in the meantime, writing reggae songs too. I mean, I just took one down I think it was maybe a month ago or something, and 2 hours, boom, song done.
Boom.
I love that.
That's great.
Well, it's a God-given talent that you have for that, and being able to, as you and I share the love of smooth jazz, and I was listening to Sirius XM one time, and boom, there's one of your songs that popped up on smooth jazz, and I thought, man, that's awesome, and it's a whole nother niche out there. But how you can intertwine the steel pan into the jazz thing, that's a little different. You don't hear that a lot in smooth jazz.
No, you don't. And honestly, I'm hiring a promoter, a radio promoter, as I've done in the past. But it's hard for them too. They have to really work hard because the problem is that the smooth jazz arena, or I should say, the radio and all the media, has so saturated with saxophone, guitar, and I think maybe the third one might be piano. Trumpet has gotten in there and flute has gotten in there, but it's never really heard Steelpan without. So he has to work hard at promoting it and trying to get it into an acceptable format. So we talk about it and some of the pros and cons as far as what we think, whether we need to do any editing to the tracks, and because we want people to listen. But I don't understand. It's I think so many people are really into hearing different things. They don't want always the same. So that's what I'm hoping for, is that they can appreciate it from that level.
Well, whenever I started doing radio, we didn't have all this streaming stuff like we have now, and we thought it was a good thing whenever it happened. But what it's
Right.
also done is created this whole other market that makes it even more difficult in a lot of ways. I mean,
Yes.
back in the day where you could, you just wanted to get your CD or your album or whatever in the hands of a DJ, and you felt like that was and whoever that top DJ was at the time, that was the goal.
Yes.
Now it's so saturated and it's so there's so many streaming stations out there. It's really difficult to manage it, I would imagine.
Yes, and imagine also the fact that there's so many subcategories of types of music. So if you're going into, let's say, jazz, you've got maybe 20 different subcategories. You have to classify your music within one of those subcategories. So it really makes it difficult, even though there's millions of people out there that want to hear different music. But it's interesting because the smooth jazz promoters want to go from the radio aspect of it completely and let this social media stuff or the streaming platforms fall, have it fall into those rather than going from the streaming platforms and the other way around, if you follow what I'm saying. So it kind of dumps in that way. Whereas maybe if I'm doing chill, I might want to really target and focus on the Spotifys and the Pandoras and whatnot.
Yeah. And then when it comes to country, I mean, I am not a big fan of mainstream country, what it is today. But you hear all these artists basically writing the same song. They're in their truck and they've got their beer and whatever. But there's no Steelpan. There's nothing tropical or anything in there. They're trying to write basically a trop rock song, but it's the music in the background sounds the same, probably because the studio musicians that are playing on all these are playing the same thing.
Yes. And it's also a certain type of beat. The beat always kind of dictates how the song is going to be flowing. So, I think that's another thing. And certain instrumentation, of course, the way the guitars are EQ'd and how they bring them out in a certain way will probably fall more towards trop rock than it would maybe, acoustic something or other, or even like, let's say, some of the Jimmy Buffett stuff, might be a little bit different in that aspect. So I think that's part of it. So, like for instance, mine, you're going to hear the beat on there is not going to be at all like trop rock.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we like to call our station Coastal Americana because it has some Bickley in there and it has some Bob Seger and it has this, that, and whatever, So we just like good music and, I can't listen to 12 hours of trop rock music. I just can't do it. I got to have a variety of music in there, and very little. I mean, there's a few country songs in there that are played, but I was listening to it while I was working out here on the stage that I'm building, and I swear there was like 3 songs, and they all had the same beat rhythm to them, and I was like, it's just the words. It's a Ford truck versus a Chevrolet truck, or whatever,
Right.
I was like, man, but anyway, but I always kind of felt like what was going to happen was you were going to get into the movie business and doing the scores for movies. They're always trying to do these tropical style movies, and I was just I just knew at some point you were going to be in the credits there. Bickley, Rivera, chill.
Right.
I mean, go ahead.
This song here, actually, I can picture being either the backdrop of a movie or, something. I feel like it should cross over into Latin countries, even though it's not traditional Latin. So here I go again, I'm not traditional this, I'm not traditional that. I'm kind of somewhere in between a fusion of it. But I could see it in some Latin countries, maybe whether it's filming or television or some backdrop of media.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking to one of our friends, Chris Bellamy, and he was telling me that, he plays a lot down in Islamorada and all over Florida, plays a lot of those places. He says, man, you really need to get more of that Latin style music into the station. He said, that is huge. And he's actually taking. He took a couple years ago. He started as talented as what he is. He was learning Latin guitar playing, so he could provide it more to his audience. And I was like, wow. I mean, here's a real student of the art, you know.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, very
love
nice. Well, the name of the tune is what is it? Romance in Spain,
Yep.
and which just sounds great. What a title, Romance in Spain.
Well, I have to tell you, when I created the song, I just called it Latin Vibe because I didn't have a name for it yet. And so I went out here I went to Palm Springs to work with Steve Oliver, and still didn't have a name. Got home, he sent me back the mixes, still called Latin Vibe. It wasn't until probably a month ago that I named it. And we're talking now, it's been a year and a couple months.
It's a great
Wow.
title. I mean, it just the title alone takes you somewhere, you know. So, finally, you probably, woke up brushing your hair and like, I should call it Romance in Spain. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it.
That's how the magic happens in your world. But all right, what we're going to do is we'll put you back in the green room. We're going to play the song right quick, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about it. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Romance in Spain, everybody. And the crowd goes crazy. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's so interesting to me how that's all put together. I mean, the Latin guitar that's in there, the drum beats, and how it all goes. I mean, did you arrange all that? Do you have a bunch of people that you work with? How did that all come about?
Sometimes I do, but the answer to that one is this one I put together myself.
Nice.
I pretty much that's one that also flowed pretty quick, which makes it so nice. But I kind of had the melody in my head. As far as the beat, I knew it was just going to be just a light beat. As far as instrumentation, till I got down to my studio and just started putting a few tracks down, then I kind of hear other things in the background. I knew I wanted Spanish guitars strumming throughout the song. And that was it. And then coming up with the hook for the chorus, didn't take too long. I mean, I just kind of experimented on my Steelpan for that one. So that one wasn't straight in my head, but sit down, play a couple of things like, oh yeah, okay, I like the way this moves around. And so I sent that to Steve, and I think he pretty much used most of my tracks. I don't know if he changed any of that, but of course he put down the amazing lead parts that you hear on guitar. So and then other songs require somebody else kind of putting their input into it. And it's good. I mean, it doesn't matter which way you want to go, but if you have something pretty much in your head and you kind of want it to be that way and it seems to work, then that's how that song ended up,
Wow. It's amazing talent that you have. There's a movie that I love that's called, what's that Matthew McConaughey movie that?
Fool's Gold.
Fool's Gold.
He loves Fool's Gold.
I love that movie, and at the beginning of that movie, and it's got everything that I love. It's got treasure hunting. It was filmed in the Keys. Romance. It's got everything in it. Fool's Gold. You should go back and find that movie and listen to the opening song of that movie. And that's what got me to thinking about, movie, laying down movie music or whatever, that tracks, scores, whatever you want to call it. And but it reminded me when I first heard this tune that it reminded me of the opening music of that movie. And if you're envisioning you playing on a movie, go back and just watch the opening part of it and that music, and it'll blow you away of how similar that what you just did and how that movie is 20 years ago. How great it is. I mean, check it out.
Crazy.
So cool.
Yeah.
I think maybe I should try to market it market it to media somehow. Yeah.
I think this is it. Brian Fields, I call him the tamale man. He makes great tamales, and everybody all over the world wants him to send tamales. And I'm like, listen, you need to quit messing around with all this other stuff. You're the tamale man, okay? This is your niche, and movie scores may be your thing. You just hadn't really tapped into it yet,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, cool. So is this going to be a whole CD, or is it just singles? What are you doing now?
Well, I don't know. It's like about maybe 2 years ago, I was starting to put an album together, and a lot of people are telling me, hey, singles are where it's at.
It is.
now.
Yeah.
Just, if you can just concentrate on pumping them out one after another, that's what's really going to get your following. Constant content updates and things like that. So I'm probably not going to concentrate on an album. And like I said, I have a reggae song that I really want to release this summer. But I also have another Deep House tune
Nice.
that got mastered maybe about 4 months ago. That's going to be nice. I might wait on that one until the winter because I think that could work then. But the summer stuff, if it's something happy and it's got that real Steelpan glitter, I need to do that in the summer.
Yeah.
After doing this as long as I have, I think now where we're at, the real niche is EPs, okay? A 3 to 4 song EP, because people, first of all, if you just do a single, you're getting one price, okay? Streaming it, to download or whatever. But if you do an EP and somebody sees that, it's not as much as a whole CD, But let's say it's $5.99 or $6. They'll just go ahead and buy the whole album, right? So
That's a good point.
and EPs, you can have EPs themed differently, as opposed to one CD coming up with a theme, or a title of the CD and all that stuff. An EP can be a theme about it. And it's about, and it doesn't take as much to produce as it does a whole album and all that stuff.
Right.
I really think that's kind of the niche of where we're at right now.
I like that idea. Actually, you're giving me some ideas, because I mean, what I would do for me is do like a 2025 EP. Like that would be
There you go.
kind of the concept of it, because the way my mind works is I'm never stuck in one genre. I'm always exploring that. And so if they saw the way my mind was working, they'd see like you're gonna have like 5 different genres in this EP.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that a lot of the even the big bands, successful ones or whatever, they'll do a single, and then they'll do an EP. Those 2 singles will be part of that EP, but there you got 2 more you hadn't heard yet, right? So they get the whole EP sold that way. I mean, you got to figure out a way to do it. You got to make some money, but at the same time, a 12, 13 song CD, I feel like in the world we're living in right now, the good music is being lost, right? They're not listening to all of it. It's some people are torn between old school, I want to have an album kind of thing, but that's a lot of work and a lot of money. You got to really look at it from a perspective. Do you really want people to listen to your music? The 4 or 5 songs gets a better shot at it than 12 or 13.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Totally.
mean, that's just where we're at right now. But I know you had to get up early this morning, and I really appreciate you doing that in California. But I'm like, oh God, I gotta call the Tiki Man and get on this interview. I understand, but I was so blown away by the new tune, and it'd been a while since I've seen your smiling face. Your hair's grown a little bit since the last time I saw you.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of going hippie.
Yeah, it looks good. Well, you're in California.
You're doing the hippie chick.
Yeah.
But you tell your manager, you've always got a home here at Tiki Man Radio, and
thank you.
If you've got some kind of big event that you want us to talk about, send it to me, and I'll throw it out there during the Sunday show to help get the word for it.
Yeah, I totally appreciate what you guys do. I mean, it's, you guys don't probably get enough thanks. I'm telling you, like the work that goes into your show and the time that you spend putting it together. And I know you have fun when you're doing it, but people sometimes don't know everything that's going on behind the scene.
You're right about that, and thank you for saying that.
That is sweet.
You're
Thank
right.
you.
There is a lot of
he
behind
works
the
very
scenes.
hard. Yes.
Yes, I know.
She was going to bed last night. I'm like, I got one more thing I got to do for the show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's we making time for people like you that we love and love your music. This is the highlight of the week for me. This is where it all comes together, and I get to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's nice. That's great.
Well,
awesome.
Tell people,
thank you again. Yeah.
Yeah, tell people where they can find all this great music, and they can follow you if they want to.
Okay, so I am on some radios, but it'll be on quite a few more when the promotion starts. And I'm on the Spotify, the Pandoras, the Deezer, the Amazon Music. I'm trying to think what else, Apple Music, all that stuff. And my website is BickleyRivera.com, so they can also find more media there. If they want to kind of check out some of the other stuff that I've been doing, and keeps up with my schedule where I'm performing. Right now I'm just performing in Florida, but I might be going to Trinidad in September.
Oh, fun.
Trinidad. Nice. One thing we've been doing the last 4 years is this thing called Tiki Man Radio Escape to Paradise, where we go to a different island every year.
Ooh.
And we bounce around the Caribbean. We went to Jamaica, Mexico, Dominican Republic. This year we were in Costa Rica in May. But one thing that I've noticed about doing that is the different styles of music we find a bar out in the middle of wherever, out in the woods, and they're listening to Latin music, or they're listening to this or that or whatever. The local artist and what they're playing, it's really opened up a whole nother avenue for me musically to make that connection with whatever island we're on and the artists that are playing them.
That is so cool.
I call it research.
What's that?
I said I call it research.
Yeah, research and development. Yeah. I mean, and when you go to the islands, like a lot of times it's easy to kind of generalize. A lot of people think Steelpan is from Jamaica,
right,
and it is not whatsoever. It's from Trinidad. So, and you go to the different islands and you see what specific flair they put in it, which is awesome. Yeah.
Well, no doubt about it. No matter which island I go to, whoever has the Steelpan, they're keeping it nice and clean. They're not, it's too much hard work to let it go bad. So
yeah. It's all about the pan.
That's right. Well, listen, we love you, and you're looking great. Love the long hair and love the new music. And you let us know if there's anything else that we can do for you. And I've got another one of your tunes I'm going to play here. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Let's go to the reggae side. A little Hey Mon.
Oh,
I love that.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Catch you guys.
Thank you. Bickley Rivera, everybody.